Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
Most people skip this step when they're sending out their disputes to the credit bureaus to get their bankruptcy removed from their credit report, which is the reason why a lot of their disputes fall flat. But what if I told you that the key to removing your bankruptcy from your credit report isn't through the credit bureau? It's actually through the court where you filed. Hi, my name is Jeremy. I'm from the J Consulting, and I help people legally remove their bankruptcies from their credit report the legal way, not just wishful thinking. So today I'm just going to show you why it's important to actually go through the courts first before you begin the process of sending out your dispute letters. So I filed bankruptcy back in 2020, I believe, and I don't have any regrets about it at all. Before I went into the process, I knew that I was able to get it taken off, so I don't have any regrets. And then too, I was able to gain a lot of knowledge through that process because I did everything myself. I filled out the paperwork myself. Of course, I had to go to court and everything. But I did everything myself. And then I went through the whole process of getting it removed by myself, just from me, just trial and error, just like figuring things out. But I wish that I would have known to go to the courts first, before I actually went through this process, because I thought personally, and which I ended up finding out later, that once you file bankruptcy, I thought that the bankruptcy courts automatically send your information over to the different credit bureaus, which is the reason why it ends up on there. But, that's not the case. And of course, I didn't know that before. I ended up finding that out afterwards. But your information gets on your credit report by third parties, which is the reason why it's not supposed to be on there. Because the only legal way your bankruptcy is supposed to be on your credit report is if they get that information from the courts. But they don't talk to the courts, which is one of the main reasons why it's important to have that letter from the courts stating that they don't talk to them. And they're very transparent with it, like wherever you file bankruptcy at, you can just send them out a letter and they'll send you one back stating that, hey, I didn't give them this information. But here's the psychology behind it as well. So once you have written proof or a recorded statement, that puts the burden of proof back up on the credit bureaus because they have to let you know where they verified that information from. But they'll send you a letter stating that it was verified. And you're like, how? Was it Pacer? Was it LexisNexis? How? But this letter becomes leverage so when you send in your disputes. Because like I said, legally, the only way that it's supposed to be on there is if the courts actually gave them that information. But when you're going into the process of sending out your dispute letters, you're not just disputing a record. You're also building a case. Like just imagine going to the court, to fight this information and you don't have any type of documentation. So like once you're doing this, you also have to go into this with the mindset of I'm building a case, which is the reason why I keep all documentation. Anything that they send me, I'm keeping all of it. So this is the letter that you want. Let me zoom in so you can actually see where it's come from. This is a Texas letter. So I live in Dallas. So just to give y'all a little bit of background. So I've been in Dallas for like 13 years now. Yeah. So I've lived in like 7 states, 8 cities. I've moved around a lot. No, I'm not military affiliated or anything like that. I've just always been, like this very optimistic person. Like as soon as I graduated high school, I didn't want to go to college. I ended up going to college later and get my master's, but I didn't want to go to college. I just wanted to travel, but I knew that, of course, that I had to make money. So I ended up just getting a job and just working my way up to make more money. And then, just to be able to have freedom and like leadership and things like that. So, yeah, I moved around a lot, but I've been in Dallas for 13 years. I was actually just telling my mom not too long ago that I think I want to move to like the East Coast. So I'm originally from Louisiana, so I'm from the South. And most of the places that I've lived in have been like the Midwest and then the South. So I just kind of, want to experience something different. Now, I've traveled to so many places, different countries, but I've just never lived, outside of like the Midwest and the South. And so I think I want to go to the East Coast. So we'll see. But this is the letter that you want. Like I said, this is from Texas, right? Because I reached out to him. I'm like, hey, did you give my information to the different credit bureaus? And so on the first thing, it states that the U.S. Bankruptcy Court, Northern District of Texas, because like I said, I live in Dallas, it does not report information to any credit reporting agency. So this is what you need. This is the letter that you need. So like I said, all you got to do is just reach out to them and just ask them. And they're very transparent. Like I said, this is from Texas, but from whatever state that you live in. But if you want the particular letter that I sent out in order to get this letter, then just click the link in the bio, grab the letters. There's also a Bankruptcy Racer ebook that walks you step by step on everything that you need to do in order to get your bankruptcy removed from your credit report. So just click the link in the bio. So y'all, have y'all ever heard the term of like, you are the money? Man, when my mentor first told me that the first time, I didn't necessarily like understand what he meant. I was like, you are the money. Like, bro, what the hell are you talking about? But for instance, so say for instance, if you go to a bank, no matter what institution it may be, the workers that are in there, and I'm not talking about the tellers, but the workers, like the ones that are actually trying to sign you up for whatever product they have. And what I mean by product is, you have credit cards, you have mortgages, you have car loans, like whatever that they have that they're able to give to you. That's what I mean when I say like, products. They're trying to sell these different things, right, to you as the consumer, as the customer, the consumer, because anything that they sell you has interest tied onto it. Because you are the money, because that's how they make their money. So the thing about it is, like, getting money is actually pretty easy. I can honestly say that. Getting money is actually pretty easy, but your credit profile just has to be structured a certain way. But these different people that work at the bank, they're trying to sell you as much as they can because they have a quota that they have to meet. Like, their jobs are dependent upon how much that they can actually sell. But their job is to sell to people like you and I. And that's what I mean. You are the money. Because everything that they can give you, everything that you qualify for, it has interest on it. And that's how they make their money, of course, is off interest rates. So at first I was just like, you are the money. But then once I started to learn more and more and more about finances, I was like, oh, I get it. And that was one of the main things, like one of the main reasons why for me, I wasn't going to allow that bankruptcy to stay up on my credit report. I'm like, I can't. In order for me to just move forward in whatever it is that I wanted to do, I just knew that I had to get that off of there. But this is the thing though, before y'all even start sending out letters, your mindset has to be there. Y'all, before I even filed bankruptcy, I knew that I could get my bankruptcy up off my credit report, and I was going to get my bankruptcy up off my credit report. But that was one of the main reasons why I really didn't care about filing. But everything is a mindset. Your mind is a magnet, right? And we create our own universe, but your mind is a magnet. And one of the things that you can't do is always think about the things that you don't want, because the things that you don't want, those are the things that you're going to attract to you. You have to start letting the universe know the things that you want. And that's how you start to manifest things. But thinking about the things that you don't want, those are the things that you're going to attract. And so for me, before I even got into this process, I knew that I was going to be able to get my bankruptcy taken up off of there. Nobody in this world could have told me that I was not going to get my bankruptcy removed from my credit report. I knew that it was going to be a process, but I knew that I was going to have to be the one to move forward in the steps that I needed to take in order to get it removed. So you just have to be an action taker. I'm an action taker, which is the reason why you see the results that you see on the screen right now. So if you want your bankruptcy removed from your credit report, just click the link in the bio and I'll see you on the next video.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.